challenges with any of your rental properties?
Good question. Unfortunately, yes.
Ooh,
Um, it's funny because I recently incorporated one of my properties
okay.
and never dealt with an eviction before.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of interesting. The second I incorporated, my tenant decides to not paying, and
Yeah,
so now I had to do an eviction proceeding.
yeah.
And what's crazy is I didn't realize that corporations are not eligible for L2 type of evictions. Is the L2? The one where you evict based off of personal use.
Yeah, so it starts off as an N12.
N12, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terminate tenancy due to owner occupied
yeah,
use. So what you're saying is because you're an entity now, you're not an owner that's capable of occupying said property. And I guess that's why that application wouldn't apply.
that's right. But in all technicality, though,
Hmm.
rental property can be under a corporation.
Yeah,
It's because of the clause of the N12. It
got you.
says it has to be used by owner, personal.
Yes, yes,
Personal use.
personal
A
use.
company cannot be
Of
personal in a
course, because
sense,
it's a
right?
business in its sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what interestingly enough is it's only based off of the title.
Yes.
So if I was at least on the title in like
Then you could,
1%
yeah.
as the landlord or
Yeah.
whatever, I would be fine.
Yeah.
But because I put it completely under my corporation,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, back to your question. Unfortunately, I did run into an issue where my tenant decided to not pay.
Yeah.
It was basically a domestic issue. It
Yeah.
was a domestic issue. They have been living with, or they've not living, they've been renting from my property for a couple of years.
How many? Do you
Even
remember?
around 3 years.
So you had them for 3 years and things were
No
okay
issues.
prior?
Yeah, no issues. They're completely fine. Well, let me clarify that. In terms of paying, in terms of
As long as the rent was being
that's
paid
right.
and their account was up to date.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of our duties,
Yeah.
technically our
Yeah.
duties, they were fine. I was fine. We were
Yeah.
going fine. But I think maybe like 2 years
Yeah.
into the tenancy, we did notice, or I did notice some small issues.
Yeah.
I have a property manager
Yeah.
who basically manages the
Yeah.
property and the clients and
Yeah.
everything. He would, send me some messages, tenant A is having some issues
Mm,
and then because they were of my community,
yeah.
I felt obligated to want to help, because I think at the end of the day, there's not enough of us that are
Yes.
helping one another.
And it's interesting you say that because in the realm of business I'm in, I do see that a lot. I see individuals from different communities having preference specifically to their own community. And, I sometimes have to let them know, under human rights, you can't specifically say, I want this profile type as a tenant. But yes, I understand that, our community, there might be a scarcity of landlords and therefore make it a little more challenging for a community to find reasonable rentals and, willing landlords and things like that. So I totally get what you're saying.
Exactly. So, yeah, I brushed it off as not brushed it off, but I basically gave a lot of belie or gave
So
a lot
you
of
are, so you're
leeway.
basically saying through the qualification process, you lowered your threshold.
No,
Okay, so they still
no,
met all of
they
the,
still, of course, of
so
course.
credit was ticked off,
Yes,
income
credit
ticked
was, yeah,
off,
yeah,
past rental history ticked
yes,
off. Okay,
yes.
so they were still qualified.
100%,
Okay, gotcha.
100%. That's one thing I'll never do. I'll never lower the standards just to meet community, you know what I mean?
Of
Just to
course,
meet
I've seen that happen.
it's kind of I call it reverse discrimination,
Yeah, yeah,
in a
because
sense.
you really should, no matter who it is, have a threshold of what is
Exactly.
qualified.
Exactly. Yeah. And so yeah, so a couple of years noticed little something.
Hmm.
The two tenants that rented, I guess they were common law.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I think long story short, it started off with just a couple of just domestic issues between the two.
yeah.
It was really isolated to just them.
Hmm.
And I think in the third year, it started bleeding out into the streets in a
Ah,
sense.
The neighborhood
I
started
was getting a
noticing it.
couple of calls from the neighbors,
Yeah.
just a little here and there in terms of loudness, just,
Yeah.
them raising their voices and people hearing them.
Yeah.
And I felt bad,
Of
but
course.
ultimately, what else can I do? They kept paying.
Exactly.
And what I tried to do at one point, I told my property manager, raise the rent,
Yeah.
right? Let's see if we can
Yeah.
get them out that way.
And nope.
Because my whole logic is, I don't know if you're as how many people are a religious person, but I truly believe that, it's all about how you handle the situation. And my logic is money is not as important as being a good person,
Of course.
like, and I just felt like my tenant or my neighbors
Yeah.
were going through a lot.
And you
And
felt,
so money
yeah.
is important, but this is not good money.
Of
This isn't a
course.
good fruit.
Of course.
So I basically was like, okay, spoke to my property manager, what can I do
Yeah.
to get them out? And legally, I can't do anything, right? I
Correct.
can't even, they're paying. That's their
Exactly.
one job,
Yeah.
right? They're paying consistently and everything. So I just figured, okay, maybe I could raise the rent. Fortunately, you can only raise the rent by 2%,
Yes.
right? Or based off of whatever is allowed.
Yeah. Per the Ontario guideline that's
That's
set
right.
each year.
So I raised the rent by as much as I could, which
Yeah.
is nothing.
Yeah.
And then they reissued me 12 new checks,
No
right?
problem.
So I do checks. They did checks,
Post dated.
post
Yeah.
dated checks. And
Yeah.
again, 3 years, no missed dates or anything.
Right.
Couple of times, the tenant, one of the tenant A or tenant B, whatever you want to call it, they would be like, don't post this till like, don't check cash this until like 3 days later or something.
Yes.
Whatever, fine,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so that was how it was for a
Yeah.
while. And then it really came to a head at the beginning of the year. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it looks like the common law
Hmm.
just kind of dissolved,
Yeah.
and the two tenants decided to, I guess, part ways.
Yeah.
Don't think it was amicable,
Ah.
because long story short,
Yeah.
police arrived
Yeah.
and my property was damaged.
Of course.
And yeah, I'll keep it
So
as simple as that.
if I'm reading between the lines, not necessarily your situation, but there can be circumstances where two tenants cohabitating, if there is a fallout between the two tenants and if police are contacted, there could be a scenario where one of the tenants is no longer allowed to be on the property and then the other tenant is the one remaining. Now, the challenging thing is, with rentals and especially with our economy, you need a dual income in order to afford rent, usually. And so both people would need to be in the house paying the rent to be able to afford the rent. And if you remove one of those people, there will be a affordability issue. And that sounds like it could be a similar situation that you're going through, where tenant A is no longer there, and tenant A could have been the breadwinner, the sole provider. And if tenant A is no longer there, tenant B is left, and then you're wondering, how is tenant B going to actually afford the place? And so it kind of sounds like what's going on with you.
Yeah, and sometimes I wonder if it's a bit of a loophole,
Yeah,
like with a mortgage,
of course. Yeah.
but then it's like cosigner, at the end of the day, the bank doesn't care.
No,
So you
no.
cosign, it's your
You're
problem.
equally liable.
You're equally liable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think what you're describing is, I think, again, I can only speculate,
Yeah.
but I think you might be right.
Yeah.
And so the tenant that was the breadwinner
Hmm.
left,
Yeah.
and then the tenant that was the non-breadwinner
Yeah.
remained. And I think it makes sense because after that subsequent breakup,
Yes.
it seemed like the rent was no longer being paid consistently.
Mm.
I think in the beginning, um, I was cashing one of the checks, and one of tenant A,
Yeah.
whatever, asked me not to cash it,
Yes.
but I had cashed it already.
Of course.
And then the next month, that one bounced,
Yeah.
and then the next one, I think it was paid,
Yeah.
but then the next one bounced. So long story short, unfortunately, after they broke up,
Hmm.
just the tenant that remained was not paying consistently. And so what I had to do was, I initially was going the approach of an N12,
Yes.
because in my research as a landlord, and I'm a novice landlord,
Yes.
I was concerned with the N4 route.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it's so
which is
easy.
non-payment of rent.
That's right.
Yeah, notice to evict due to non-payment of rent. And I assume your hesitation behind that is because the landlord and tenant board is very slow and they are
No,
very pro
actually,
tenant.
it's there. Thank you. That's the only. It was just pro tenant,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So you go, you file, you do your hearing. The adjudicator or the judge will say, are you going to come up with some type of payment plan? If they say yes, then basically they're allowed to stay. And that's how you have these arrears that get into the $30,000, $40,000 because there are tenants that understand what needs to be done in order to delay the eviction process.
exactly.
So I guess you were scared to get caught in that loophole.
100%, 100%. And so I just started researching, the N12 versus the N4, and it just seemed like the N12 was just a little
Well, it's
bit
clean.
more.
It's clean.
Well,
You're taking possession. Tenant has to leave as long as they're in a month-to-month lease.
yeah.
That's it.
Also, the N12 is more landlord focused,
Exactly.
right? It's more landlord, so it's more the onus is on me to prove as opposed to me proving the tenant, which,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
Their non-payment of rent.
So yeah, it was disappointing because had this happened a year prior, I would have been completely good with the N12 because
Yeah.
the property was still under my corporate was not under my corporation.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I initially did the N12, served it,
Yeah.
did the certificate of service, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And then what happened? My hearing date was
Yeah.
so far into the year. So sorry, you know what? I'm so sorry. Let me backtrack. I
Hmm.
initially did the N4,
Yeah.
but I didn't actually apply for the N4.
Yeah.
So I sent them, if you know about the N4 process,
Hmm.
you have to send them it's like a N4 intent.
Yeah.
It's just a
A heads
form.
up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then they have 14 days to pay. If they don't pay after that, you can
Yeah.
then file the N4. I sent them that.
Yeah.
I did the certificate of service, but I never formally filed the N4.
Right.
I switched up within that 14 days and I filed the N12. And then stupid me,
Yeah.
the N12 says you can only apply after 60 days and then you give them compensation,
Yes.
1 month
Yeah.
compensation. Stupid me, I thought you had to wait 60 days before you can even
Uh,
apply.
yeah.
So I sat around for months,
Yeah.
just months and months, chilling, waiting to fulfill the N12 requirements. And then all of a sudden I realized that I could have applied,
Right away.
immediately.
Yeah.
So between that, I finally got the N12.
Yeah.
I finally applied for the N12, and once I applied for the N12, I got my hearing date, which is all the way months later.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, then I might as well just apply for the N4 because I've already satisfied that
Exactly.
and I could still do that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then my hearing date was sooner.
Yeah.
So that hearing date happened. You want me to go into the hearing?
Of
Get
course.
it?
Yes.
This man's
Give us
trying to,
the
he
nitty
wants the
gritty.
details.
Yes.
So we did the N12, or I submitted the N4
Yeah.
and got a hearing date. By the way, I have the N12 still pending.
Yeah.
It's still there. So I have that hearing scheduled, but it's months later.
Of course.
So we just recently completed the hearing for the N4, and it was a little bit of a gong show.
Yeah.
So remember, they send this stuff out weeks prior.
Yes.
So I think it was maybe a month or 2 months before we even got our hearing date.
Yeah.
So the tenant was aware, I was aware, and all good.
Yes.
No issues between now and when I filed for the N4 and the hearing date, no
Yeah.
issues really. The tenant actually paid 1 month's rent.
Okay.
But ironically, she paid another month's, but I think she just used my money that I gave her from the N12 because remember, I got to
Ah,
compensate her.
of course.
So I got 2 months, or maybe really just 1 month
Of course.
of rent prior to our hearing date.
Yeah.
So the month of the hearing date, I
Yeah.
was really expecting to get rent. I did not receive rent from her during the month of the
Of
hearing date.
course. Yeah.
So we have the hearing,
Hmm.
and at this point, I had a lawyer. I
Yeah.
decided to just get a lawyer. I said, why take the risk, whatever.
Invest in
So,
professionals.
exactly.
Yeah.
So me and my lawyer, we attend. It's like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Stupid me. I was late by 5 minutes. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have. Don't be late.
CP time.
Yeah. So I log in and I mean, I didn't think they'd be on time exactly, but literally I came in 5 minutes late, and the lady, the organizer, she's just blazing. She's done like three or four of them already, like,
Wow.
preparing them,
Yeah.
not completed,
Okay.
right? So then I log in, and then she's like, "Hello, Mister," and I think 905, whatever, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
my
exactly.
number that shows up. I think it displays my name. So,
Yeah.
hello, Kevin. Which docket are you on? I give her the docket number, and then she's like, "Okay, are you with representation?" I'm like, "Yes." This is Scott, and so she's like, "Okay, you are number 14."
Hmm.
Right? So my theory is if I was there 5 minutes early, I probably would have been number three or four.
Yeah.
So I'm number 14 now.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
thinking to myself, man, I don't want to be delayed or they miss me. You know what
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean?
for
But
the
I
day.
figured I'm in the middle,
Yeah.
right? I think total there are 20.
Yeah.
So I'm number 14. My tenant is not there. So
And
I'm five
this
minutes late.
this is in person?
No, this is like
It's a
it's
virtual.
virtual.
Okay. And I guess the landlord tenant board to expedite things, they do these hearings virtually now.
That's right.
Okay, got you.
Exactly. So this is all virtual. So I do not see my tenant in the system or
Yeah.
in the queue or the chat.
Yeah.
So we're about maybe 20, 30 minutes into this thing,
Yeah.
and we're just kind of waiting for our turn. And then I finally see my tenant come online. And I'm like, okay, all right, so we're just waiting to be heard, and then we're gonna go into the room and do the first mediation. Usually
Yeah.
you do mediation, or they ask you if you want to do mediation.
Of
We
course.
opted to do mediation
Yeah.
if the tenant was willing. So everyone's quiet, waiting. Then all of a sudden my tenant starts saying hello, and the organizer's like, hello, hello, miss,
Yeah.
and my tenant's like, can I get some help here?
Completely lost.
Yeah, and the organizer was like, okay, miss, I heard you, and you mentioned your name, and you mentioned the docket number. That's why you're in this queue right now. So what
What
do
do you
you need?
need?
So I don't know. She said something, and then the organizer was just kind of trying to calm her down because
Yeah.
she's getting frustrated. And then I guess, how they say the hammer gets the nail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we've been isolated. So she's like, okay, you know what? We'll send you guys to mediation.
Yeah.
Because she agreed, I agreed, right? So we go to mediation.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, apparently my tenant was at Tim Hortons.
Oh yeah, that's a good
A
place
great
to
place, right?
yeah,
For something so important.
exactly. Yeah.
So we're in mediation. The mediator is trying to speak to my tenant, and all you're hearing is, ha, I, I don't, I, my, my, and she's like, excuse me, miss, like, we cannot hear you.
Yeah.
And for this to go and proceed smoothly, I need to know that you can hear. And this is,
Connectivity.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm at Tim Hortons. Uh, uh, and so the mediator's like, okay, so two things. We cannot hear you.
Mhm.
And this is a private session. So the fact that you
Yeah.
mentioned that you're in a public place,
Exactly.
this can be a problem, miss.
Yeah.
So then my tenant, remember this is live,
Yeah.
this is happening. So the tenant is now getting frustrated.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What do you, and then the mediator is like, again, miss, I can't
Yeah.
hear you. But this is what's crazy. All of a sudden, it became clear, and then all you heard was, I wish all these people would F and die.
Whoa.
So, so
Whoa.
then the mediator is like,
Yeah.
excuse me?
Yeah.
Miss, you cannot say that. I know it's frustrating, but you cannot say that.
Yeah.
And so I'm ending this right now. And I'm going to be telling the adjudicator, and I'm
Yeah.
putting you guys back into the main queue.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was our mediation. Ending with, I wish you would all F and die.
Isn't
That's
that
what my tenant
isn't that
basically told us all.
that's a death threat. Isn't there
Literally.
some type of charge that can
I don't know.
be associated with that?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Wow.
remember, tenant friendly.
That is true. And she wasn't
Tenant,
Tim Hortons, so
yeah.
you got to understand, she didn't get her coffee, so
Yeah, tenant friendly. So then we're finally pulled into the adjudicator.
yeah,
So our time, the main show, our
yeah,
main show's going on now. So we meet with the adjudicator, and the adjudicator basically asks, tenant, do you agree that you owe, this much money?
How much is it?
Over around 10,000 at this
Ah,
point. Yeah, not great, not a lot. I know there's worse, but
yeah, well, that's 10K in rent,
that's right.
correct? So, not to mention the damages from
Yeah,
XYZ.
yeah, police.
So, you're probably what, 15 to 20,000 in the hole when you factor in all the damage
Yeah,
and what repairs would look like and everything.
yeah. I think it's safe to say that. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
So we're in the adjudicator. We're meeting. We're in the virtual room with him, and he goes to the tenant. You know, do you agree that you owe 10,000? Tenant says no.
Yeah, of course.
So then I like the adjudicator. He's like, okay, well, how much have you paid?
Yeah.
How many months? Or he did a different way. He's like, do you agree that you've only paid 2 months? She
Yeah.
says yes. And the adjudicator, okay, well then you owe 10.
Same answer.
Yeah, the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
So he's like, well then if you've only done 2 months or in this month of the
Hmm.
year, you owe this much.
Mathematically,
Yeah.
you do the math. There you go.
So then she agreed.
Yeah.
And so the adjudicator just, started pressing, asking us, just some things. I had a lawyer, so my lawyer's
Yeah.
talking for me. And I think at one point he said, do you have anything else to say, tenant? And she basically was like, I don't know why I'm here, or it's only me. There's multiple people on
The
the
lease.
lease, so I don't know why I'm being picked on and blah blah blah. And the adjudicator basically said, well, Mr. Powell can do whatever he wants. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, he can go after both of you. He can go after one of you. That's not his thing. He doesn't have to. That's not his problem.
But moreover, there's only tenant B left in the property.
That's true.
Tenant A is no longer there, so therefore the de facto person to continue to pay rent and not pay rent is tenant B.
Yeah,
So that's why they're there.
you're 100% right. I think from a technical legal standpoint,
Yeah.
because real quickly backtrack,
Hmm.
when tenant A left,
Yeah.
tenant A did send me a notice from a pseudo paralegal
Yeah.
requesting that I do remove him officially.
Of course.
So I think he said he was willing to sign an N9 or
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
But it wouldn't apply really because that's for an entire tenancy, not to just extract one
Yeah,
person from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But had I agreed though,
Yeah.
it would
Then
have triggered a new
a new lease. Yeah, of
contract
course.
because
Then you'd have to requalify
that's
her
right.
alone or tenant B.
That's right. So that contract would have effectively been null and void.
Yeah.
And if I did that, then my tenant B that's on the call would have
Yeah.
had a
Of
case, but I never
course.
did that.
Yeah.
So the adjudicator was setting her straight that, Mr. Powell can do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
And so long story short, he's basically asking the tenant, when can you pay this arrears? And I think she mentioned that she doesn't have a job or something, but
Oh, she doesn't have a job.
I know, conveniently
That's
enough,
very
I know,
good.
fun stuff, eh?
Yeah.
But I'm glad the adjudicator kind of didn't really care,
Yeah.
right? I'm glad he didn't. But then, he did basically say, can you do this in 90 days?
Yeah.
And she said yes. And I guess from an adjudicator perspective, like, okay, I got her to say yes, let's
So
move
that's
on,
all.
right?
Yeah.
Mind you, she's only paid 2 months,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, to me as a landlord, like, why are you giving more time? Like, why
More
can't you
time to
just,
not pay rent.
yeah, why can't,
Yeah.
because she has to pay rent on on the first of the month as usual. That has to
On
happen.
top of the
But why
arrears.
not just do it where on the 15th she pays an additional 300
Yeah.
towards that
Payment
payment?
plan.
You would
Yeah.
think. But then I don't know, the adjudicator was just like, "No, you got to just pay it all 100% in 90 days." Who the hell's going to get $10,000 in 90 days? You would think having
Someone who's unemployed.
I
She
know.
wasn't paying the rent when tenant A left, so it's safe to assume they won't be able to come up with the money.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
you're going to have to continue to carry the cost of the property without receiving rental revenue,
Exactly.
which is a big
Unfortunately.
concern for landlords. There's so many scenarios where, it either be a mom and pop landlord or an entity that has multiple properties. But the main fact is it's a single family home. And so if there's no rent coming in, that's it. It's not like a multi-res or an apartment building where if one person isn't paying rent, you still have other sources of income from rent coming. it stops. But you have to continue paying the mortgage. You have to continue keeping up with the expenses, and that can be burdensome for a lot of people. And that's where it's scary for landlords to want to actually be landlords because unfortunately in Ontario it's so tenant friendly. Understandably, I understand how we got to where we are, slumlords and all of that stuff, but the reality is there are landlords that can't afford to carry a property without receiving any type of rental revenue. I don't believe you're in that situation, but if you were, you'd lose your house.
Yeah.
And then what? The tenant would have the mortgagor showing up saying, "Hey, you got a tour in your rents and they have to go to us, or they might sell it and then kick the tenant out anyway." So that's something that tenants really need to be aware of. It can eventually blow up in your face if you're not paying rent. So just be mindful of that.
Mhm. And you know what? It's funny. I never really thought about it like that, but you're 100% right. Like if it's sort of mutual
Yeah,
destruction.
exactly.
I never really thought of it like that, but just because, and this is where I'll push back a little bit on that. Not
Yeah.
to say that you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just we don't look at it. Let's be honest. I'm only thinking about my side. She's only thinking about her side.
Yeah.
But if you really looked at it like that, then yeah, you would think, and more so on the tenant side, if I fail, you fail,
Exactly.
right? If I
Yeah.
go down, we all go down.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that number one, I don't want to lose my investment,
Yeah.
so I'm more gonna
And
try
you're
to,
more invested in
yeah,
keeping it. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, it is. You're totally right because the banks aren't gonna, they're not gonna want to get rent from you.
No, not at
They're
all.
just gonna foreclose on the property, and then you're gonna get kicked out by
Yeah.
definition because when they foreclose, no one can live in it at
Yeah.
all. Or they'll do some other crazy thing that either way will not work for you, Mr. Tenant or Miss
Exactly.
Tenant.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's you're 100% right. It's
So
interesting.
I'm curious to know through this entire process that you've been going through, what was the dialogue like with tenant B? Was it cordial? Was there a form of understanding? Or was it just complete dismissal of responsibility?
And what you mean tenant that remained?
Yes.
Yes, because we were kind of interchanged both of them, but
Yeah.
so yeah, and it's interesting. I've never engaged her directly,
Right.
but in the beginning when this all started, she did call me
Yeah.
and basically was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like this is in the beginning.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, Kev? I know you. Like, why are you doing this? And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, Miss Tennant, I have to follow the rules. I mean, as much as we are friends, quote
Yeah.
unquote, I have a job to do. This is a transaction.
Of
This is a
course. This is
business.
business. Yeah.
And so yeah, so in the beginning, she had a lot of confidence. She was
Yeah.
like, well, at the end of the day, I know the law, I know the system, and so,
Ah.
I just got to pay you. It's only
Yeah.
been 3 months. At that point, it was
Yeah.
only 3 months or 2 months or whatever. And I just got to pay you and then it resets. That's what she told me. She threatened me like
So
that,
she
right?
already knew how to game the system.
Yeah. And she basically, if I remember, you have no leverage. Kept saying
Mm-hmm.
that.
No
No
leverage.
leverage, no leverage. And um, so, yeah, it was just really kind of vitriol. She accused me of attacking her and
Yeah.
coming at her like white people.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting. Because I'm following the rules,
And
I'm
being
coming
a
at you
business.
like white people.
Yeah, sometimes that our community can be a little, a little much. That's a little excessive,
A little
obviously.
excessive is an understatement. Um, and so she's talking. It's almost
Yeah.
like just a dialogue
Yeah.
or monologue,
Of
sorry.
course.
And so I'm like, okay, Miss Tennant, can I talk?
Yeah.
And she's like, sure. And so I'm just like apologizing, like,
Yeah.
just trying to be cordial. Like, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I got to do what I got to do. And I'm sorry that the domestic issues that you guys went through is
Yeah.
stop me off. She cut me off. Like,
Oh.
this isn't no domestic issue. I got beaten down and blah, 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 and blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so once again, another monologue. And the whole thing is that it just felt like she definitely needs counseling.
Yeah. Of
This
course.
person that
Yeah.
left her clearly has triggered her.
Yeah.
And she cannot, if you mention that person's name,
Goes off.
it will derail any conversation, right? So she's basically just saying she's the victim
Yeah.
and she almost died
Yeah.
and the police had to save her. One thing that was interesting,
Yeah.
when the police did destroy my front door,
Yeah.
I went there and I immediately got the door fixed the next day.
Very
The next
responsive
day.
and responsible
That's
as a
right. The
landlord.
next day I got it fixed. But when I went there, I obviously am concerned.
Of course.
Yeah, so I went to talk to
That's my
her.
door bus open.
Yeah, well, not just the door, but her. I'm
Well, yeah, of
really
course. Yeah.
concerned about
Yeah.
the tenant. It's not all about money, right?
Yeah.
At this point, I didn't know. I didn't have a reason because they were
Yeah,
paying
exactly.
rent
Yeah.
consistently up until this.
Yeah.
So I went in, I met her. I think I gave her even a hug.
Yeah.
Like I'm so sorry I had to go through this. But then I was asking, how did the cops get here?
Yeah.
And she was like, I was on the phone with the police,
Yeah.
and then he knocked me out,
Yeah.
and then I was non-responsive until the police came.
Uh,
I'm like, why were you on the phone in the police in the first place?
yeah.
Because usually, again, I've never been a part of domestic dispute, but I
Yeah.
figured y'all are fighting and then
Yeah,
punch,
exactly. Yeah.
and then you're knocked out. Um,
She probably called the police in advance as like a threat during the argument.
but do you? But and again, I'm not a violent person, but
Yeah.
does it make sense for you to knock someone out when you know they're out on the cop when you're on the
No,
phone with
not
the
at all.
police? Thank
That's
you. Like, am I
definitely yeah.
crazy? That
Yeah.
seems a little weird. Why
Yeah.
would I go and beat her while she's on the
Yeah, there's
phone?
a witness
Yeah.
essentially.
So, so that seemed a little strange. I
Yeah.
didn't get it. And then the other thing when I came into the house when it was, to check and she was there, one of the first things said was she's like, "Hey, good on you with respect to the antennas on the roof."
Hmm.
What does the antennas have to do with this? What's going
Peculiar.
on?
Peculiar.
And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, I get all the radio frequencies and all the TV stations." I'm like, "But it's a
Free
HD
TV?
TV antenna. It's not like that type of antenna."
Yeah.
So it was just a little weird. But you know what? Who knows? It's antenna. Maybe she changed it, modulated, it, changes
Yeah.
it. But long story short, for someone that had just been in a domestic, I saw no bruises.
Yeah.
I saw no black eye. I
Uh,
saw absolutely nothing.
yeah.
She was loud. She was screaming. So yeah, but hey, evidence was the doors broken in, right? So
Exactly.
it is what it is. My my friend, my contractor who went there to fix the door,
Yeah.
he went with his son.
Yeah.
I left. I just introduced them. And tenant, here's the
Yeah.
contractor that's gonna fix the door. He was there for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
At one point I told him, you know what? Just don't give her the key to the front door.
Yeah.
I just there's certain things I'm working through, and
Yeah.
if you can not give her the key to the
Yeah.
front door after you're done putting together the new door. So he's done. I go to him and I'm like, hey, just let me know when I can pick up the key. He's like, oh, I had to give her a key. I'm like, why? I told you not to. And he was like, you don't understand, Kevin. She would not let us leave. Like
Wow.
she was threatening, and she like I because we were about to leave, and then
Yeah.
she's like, "Where's the key?" And then I told her that Kevin said he wants to keep the keys for now,
Yeah.
and she literally was blocking us from leaving.
Hmm.
And so you know what? He is a Caucasian
Yeah.
male,
Yeah.
too, and I guess the situation
Yeah.
is female,
Yeah. They don't want to. They
male,
don't want to.
and so he basically just felt threatened for his life,
Of course. Yeah.
and she detained him.
Yeah.
She does smoke a lot,
Yeah.
so again, breaking one of my rules.
Yeah.
But you
So
come
she
in
smokes weed or cigarettes?
the weed.
So she
Yes,
smokes weed in the property,
that's right.
which is clearly not allowed as per the
Clearly,
lease. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And yeah. So long story short, he had to give her a key.
Yeah.
He felt he was afraid, And again, I get it.
Of course. Yeah. You don't-
His race
Yeah.
against our race. We all know
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
situation, other than with cops, but yeah. So it was quite an ordeal.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely disappointing because again, they've been there for so long.
Yeah.
It's sad. And what's more sad is just our own community doing it to one another. I'm not trying to make this about race,
Yeah. Of
but
course. Yeah.
sometimes, I do recognize our community has a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So when we do give an advantage, you would
Take it
think,
for,
yeah,
take it, run with it.
exactly,
Don't just throw it out, baby with the bathwater kind of thing.
exactly.
So yeah, I get what you mean, and I alluded to it earlier that I've seen my clients try specifically, like for example, I had one scenario where I had a client say specifically, I want a Muslim tenant, and he was Muslim. And obviously I couldn't just look for Muslim tenants, but through the process, that's what we found. And on paper, they were not good. And in order to make it work, the landlord was like, okay, well, if he gets a guarantor, someone
Mm.
to co-sign on the lease, we'll consider it. They found a top-notch guarantor, added them to the lease. The landlord wanted to have a meeting with the tenant beforehand, so all three of us sat in a room and spoke for over an hour, which is very
Wow.
irregular.
Wow.
And he fell in love with the tenant. So what more can you do? And lo and behold, fast forward a couple of months, the tenant can't pay rent. He says that there's some fraud activity on his account, so his account's blocked, can't pay his rent. And now I'm hearing that he's not able to continue the rest of his tenancy. So sometimes trying to make decisions based on what's best for your community can blow up in your face. So it seems like this is still an ongoing issue that you're dealing with, and I'm very curious to see how it comes to a resolution. Hopefully, it's a peaceful resolution. Hopefully, your property is not damaged beyond repair, and I wish you good mental health through this
Thank you.
entire process because
Thank
I'm
you.
sure it is very stressful, very taxing, and no one wants to go through what you're going through.
Thank you so much.